Just total irresponsibility. Why won't the Biden administration do something about this? Well, because the Biden administration is directing its federal resources toward much more pressing issues, like terrorizing parents who don't want their kids to get transed, and terrorizing pro-lifers, and infiltrating Catholic masses and trying to harass Christians for going to church on Sunday. Josh Hawley grilled the Attorney General Merrick Garland just yesterday on that latter FBI initiative to infiltrate churches, such as my own, churches where Catholics just want to go on Sundays and worship God in a traditional way that has existed for at least 1,200 years.
I notice a pattern, though. The FBI field office in Richmond, on the 23rd of January of this year, issued a memorandum in which they advocated for, and I quote, the exploration of new avenues for tripwire and source development against traditionalist Catholics, it's their language, including those who favor the Latin Mass. Attorney General, are you cultivating sources and spies in Latin Mass parishes and other Catholic parishes around the country?
No, the Justice Department does not do that. It does not do investigations based on religion. I saw the document you have.
What did you do about it?
It's appalling. It's appalling. I'm in complete agreement with you. I understand that the FBI has withdrawn it, and it's now looking into how this could ever have happened.
How did it happen?
That's what they're looking into.
How many informants do you have in Catholic churches across America?
I don't know, and I don't believe we have any informants aimed at Catholic churches.
There it is. So Merrick Garland, he's a very talented politician. He's been in the upper echelons of Washington for a long time. And he gives the right answer to Hawley. And let's say he's being sincere. I was appalled, Senator Hawley. I can't believe this was happening. I've ordered them not to do it anymore. I was totally appalled. Okay, that's good. But then did you notice that second answer that Garland gave? Hawley says, before we go, how many informants do you have in the Catholic churches? And Garland makes a big mistake. He says, I don't know. Oops. I don't think we have any. Wait, hold on. You just said, I don't know. Implying that you've got some, you just don't know what the number is. Implying that your first answer was kind of disingenuous, right? I was appalled. I can't believe that the FBI is going in there and harassing these Catholics. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. How exactly? I'm not going to tell you, but I'm absolutely infuriated. Okay, well, all right, before we get to any of that, do what you can, but how many people do you have spying on the Catholics? Oh, I don't know. I mean, none. Yeah, okay. Okay, so Hawley is grilling Garland, and then we get Senator Cruz. I don't say it just because he's a friend of mine. I don't say it just because we hosted a podcast for 3 years together. This guy is just the best at grilling witnesses in the Senate. There is nobody better than Cruz. So Cruz goes in, he's going after Garland, and he brings up the case of Mark Houck, a pro-life activist who was threatened with jail time. The DOJ showed up at his house with his kids, terrorized him, arrested him, all for pushing back on a pro-abortion fanatic who was screaming at his son. All for just like, hey, get away from my son. You got the men in the windbreakers showing up, the federales show up to your door and arrest you and threaten you. Cruz says, what gives?
Why do you send 24 agents in body armor to arrest a sidewalk counselor who happens to be pro-life, but you don't devote resources to prosecute people who are violently firebombing crisis pregnancies?
It is a priority of the department to prosecute and investigate and find the people who are doing those firebombings. They are doing it at night and in secret. And we have found one group which we did prosecute.
You found one. How many have there been? How many attacks?
There have been a lot. And if you have any information specifically as to who those people are, we would be glad. We would be glad to have that.
Did you personally authorize 20 agents going to Mr. Houck's house? And he offered to turn himself in through counsel, but you didn't want that. The Department of Justice wanted to make a show of it. Did you personally authorize it? And do you want to apologize to Mrs. Houck and her 7 children for being terrorized?
The decisions about how to do that are made at the level of the FBI agents on scene.
So there we go. It's the same kind of answer from Garland that we saw when he was answering Hawley. He says, I don't know. I didn't make these decisions. This was not me. This was lower level FBI agents. We're looking into it. I'm very, very responsible, Senator Cruz. How dare you impugn my motives or my integrity? And okay, that's fine. But then Cruz, he's just kind of gets in there. I remember once he was grilling Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook. And what Cruz really shines in is he's doing the grilling and he's asking all these questions over here, with this hand over here. And then he just hits you with the other hand right when you're not expecting it. So he's grilling Mark Zuckerberg on whatever, I don't remember. And then out of nowhere he goes, why was Palmer Luckey fired? Because there was a rumor that a major Facebook executive had been fired for being a conservative. And he just off-footed him. And Zuckerberg didn't know what to say because he was so focused on this other topic. So we saw Cruz do this again. Cruz is grilling Garland on all sorts of issues. And then he says, hey, one quick question just before you go. Is it illegal to protest on the grounds of a judge's house while a case is pending? Here's the answer.
General Garland, is it a federal crime to protest outside of a judge's home with the intent of influencing that judge as to a pending case?
The answer to that is yes, but I also want to at least respond to your characterization of the department, which
Sure.
I vigorously disagree with.
What? Yes, the thing you said is true. But let me get off this for a second, because what Cruz was doing there was quoting the U.S. Code verbatim, which says that the protests that we saw after the Dobbs decision was leaked, all the pro-abortion fanatics who showed up to Alito's house, who showed up to Kavanaugh's house, who showed up to the homes of the conservative justices to protest, terrorize them, terrorize their kids in the middle of the night. One guy showed up to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh, and the local police and the federal police just allowed this to happen. It was completely illegal. And so now Garland's answer to Hawley and to Cruz of, I didn't know, I wasn't aware, we're investigating, we're looking into it. Had I known, we would have done things differently. It's exposed as complete BS. Because Garland says, yes, what they did was illegal. I know it was illegal. I know it was happening. It was all over the news, and I let it happen. I'm the Attorney General of the United States, and I permitted this kind of lawlessness when it benefited my political party. I brought down the full force of the federal government to terrorize a pro-lifer and his wife and his kids for having the temerity to protest outside of, or not even to protest outside, to pray outside and to peacefully demonstrate outside of an abortion clinic. Oh yeah, we're going to terrorize those people. But when left-wingers violate federal law outside the homes of Supreme Court justices, one of whom goes and tries to kill the guy, that I knowingly allowed to happen. Absolutely humiliating day for Merrick Garland on Capitol Hill. Great job to those Senate Republicans. The rest of the show continues now. You don't want to miss it. Become a member at dailywire.com. Use code Knowles at checkout. You get 2 months free on all annual plans.